Judges chapter 7. And Jerubbaal rose early, he is Gideon, and all the people with him, and camped upon the springs of Harod. And the camp of Midian was to him from the north of the hill of Moreh in the valley. And the Lord said to Gideon, The people with you are many, so as for me to not deliver up Midian into their hand, lest at any time Israel should boast instead of me, saying, My hand delivered me. And the Lord said to him, Speak indeed into the ears of the people, saying, Any one fearing and timid, return. And they sallied out from Mount Gilead, and there returned of the people 22,000, and 10,000 were left behind. And the Lord said to Gideon, Still the people are many. Lead them down to the water, and I will try them for you there. And it will be, whomever I should tell to you, This one shall go with you, he shall go with you. And all whomever I should say that he shall not go with you, then he shall not go with you. And the people went down to the water. And the Lord said to Gideon, All whoever laps with his tongue from the water, as if the dog should lap, you shall stand him alone. And all whoever bends upon his knees to drink, you shall remove him by himself. And was the number of the ones lapping with their tongue 300 men. And all the remaining people bent upon their knees to drink water. And the Lord said to Gideon, By the 300 men lapping I shall deliver you, and I will put Midian into your hand. And all the people ran, each man to his place. And they took the provision of the people in their hand, and their horns. And he sent away every man of Israel to his tent. And the 300 men he kept. And the camp of Midian was underneath him in the valley. And it came to pass in that night that the Lord said to him, Rise up, go down into the camp, for I delivered it into your hand. And if you should fear to go down by yourself, then you and Phurah your servant go down into the camp. And you should hearken to what they speak. And after these things your hands shall grow in strength, and you shall go down in the camp. And he went down, he and Phurah his servant, into a portion of the 50 companies of the ones in the camp. And Midian and Amalek and all the sons of the east were encamped in the valley as locusts in multitude. And there was not a number to their camels, but they were as if the sand upon the edge of the sea in multitude. And Gideon came, and behold, a man was describing to his neighbor a dream. And he said, Behold, I dreamed a dream. And behold, a loaf of bread of barley was rolling in the camp of Midian. And it came unto the tent of Midian, and it struck it, and it overturned it, and the tent fell. And his neighbor answered and said, This is not other than the broadsword of Gideon, son of Joash, a man of Israel. God delivered up Midian into his hand, and all the camp. And it came to pass, as Gideon heard the description of the dream and its interpretation, that he did obeisance to the Lord, and returned into the camp of Israel. And he said, Rise up, for the Lord delivered up into your hands the camp of Midian. And he divided the 300 men into 3 companies, and he put horns into the hands of all, and empty water pitchers, and lamps in the middle of the water pitchers. And he said to them, Of me you shall watch, and thus you shall do. And behold, I will enter into the midst of the camp, and it will be as whenever I shall act, so shall you act. When I trump with the horn, I and all with me, then you shall trump with the horns round about the entire camp, and shall say, To the Lord, and to Gideon! And Gideon entered, and the 100 men with him, into the rank of the camp command of the guard of the middle watch. Furthermore, rising, they roused the ones guarding, and they trumped the horns, and shook off the water pitchers in their hands. And the 3 companies trumped with the horns, and they broke the water pitchers, and took the lamps in their left hand, and in their right hand was the horns to trump. And they shouted aloud, A broadsword to the Lord, and to Gideon! And they stood each man by himself round about the camp. And they ran around all the camp, and signified by an alarm, and fled. And they trumped the 300 horns, and the Lord placed every man's sword against his neighbor, even in the whole camp. And the camp fled unto Bethshittah Zererath, unto the edge of Abel Meholah by Tabbath. And the man of Israel called for aid from out of Naphtali, and from out of Asher, and from out of all Manasseh, and pursued after Midian. And Gideon sent out messengers to every mountain of Ephraim, saying, Go down to meet Midian, and overtake to yourselves the water unto Bethbara and the Jordan. And every man of Ephraim yelled out, and were first to take the water unto Bethbara and the Jordan. And they seized the 2 rulers of Midian, Oreb and Zeeb. And they killed Oreb in Sur, and Zeeb they killed in Jacob-zeeb. And they pursued Midian. And the head of Oreb and of Zeeb they brought to Gideon from out of the other side of the Jordan.